Hello everybody, good morning. Welcome to our brand new series, You Did Not Know This. This would be the fourth session, right? We started this Monday. If you were there for all the 4 sessions, including today, you know that you had 2 general awareness, and today would be the second session for vocabulary. Speed math is coming soon. Who's here with us? Jalak, Babi, Sridhar, Moti, Rohit, Jay, Sagar, Harish, Palli, Lakshmi, Shakti, Diksha, Jai Parida. Take my name once, please. Jai Parida, Jai Parida, Jai Parida. I've taken your name thrice. Welcome, welcome you guys. So good to see you guys. Abhinav, good morning. Hi Nasima, Banu, I had a schoolmate named Banu. Bashir, Simhachalam, Kirti, hi. Good to see you too, Shaikh. Okay, so great. If you were here, the last session, we were literally studying Dhoni and Hardik, right? We had taken an article from Times of India and we looked at difficult words from context from that. Some more people joining, Rahul, Mitri, Mohini, Manisha. Hello. Okay, so welcome to all those. Now you just want me to repeat your name. I will be repeating your names because I normally have a habit of taking your names for example sentences. So I'll remember that and I'll do that. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for continuing to spread the word. We really want to reach out to as many people as possible because we think these are sessions, we know these are sessions that are going to be very helpful for you in terms of just knowing techniques and strategies to look at context and get rid of your fear with respect to whether it's new and unfamiliar words, vocabulary, or a lot of information with respect to general awareness, or to do with being quick to calculate, right? So that's the objective. Of course, we will kind of mix it up a little bit as we move along. But to start with, we want to focus on these 3 aspects, right? So the best thing about vocabulary is you need to remember them, right? Otherwise, what's the point of learning? So I want to test your memory. Okay, so can some of you, I'm hoping most of you were there in my previous session. So can some of you quickly list down the words that we looked at just day before yesterday? Not even 3 days have gone by. Can you list down the words? And I want you to, that's why I put down images, right? For us to remember the words. So remember the images. We looked at Hardik, we looked at Dhoni, we looked at Govinda. Hardik and Govinda, same word, clue. So tell me the words that we looked at. We looked at 6 words, if I'm not wrong. From the top of your head, because it's basically to test if you remember. So the whole objective is for us to, yes, flamboyance, good, blistering, yes, okay. What are the words we looked at? We were talking about, Australia's overs were cut short. Why was it cut short? Because of the rain. What was wrong with the rain? I want that word, describing the rain. Yeah, I have, okay, Harish, customary, great. I gave you a tip for another word, and then we looked at, what's her name? Priyanka, with a gun. And then we looked at technology, intermittent, yes, Harish, thank you. Yes, blown away, super. So we have flamboyant, blistering, customary, intermittent, blown away. Anything else? That's about it. I think only 5 words, right? Yes, 5 words. Yeah, there you go. You got all of it right. Super. So now I'm happy. So now, today's session, what we're going to focus on is, as much as it's good for us to, be updated with what's happening in the newspapers and all of that, what is closer to heart are the questions in the question paper itself, right? I know for a fact that most of us struggle with understanding words in the question. So for example, if it's close passage or fill in the blanks, not enough there are difficult words in the question. On top of it, they'll have new and unfamiliar words in the options. it's even more, confusing for us, right? So what do we do in such instances, especially when you have these sentence improvement, right? 2 or 3 words are highlighted in the context. If you feel the words are fine as it is, great. If not, please replace with the given options. So that's another painful area for us, right? So how do we kind of approach those questions? Is there something else that we can do in terms of context? What about the options? So yes, hi Rahul, welcome. So let's take a look at a couple of those questions from our question paper itself, right? And how to kind of approach that. And of course, in the process, we will learn new words, and we will also learn if the words kind of take up different forms, or we need different word classes. If you were here last time, word class, it might sound technical for some of you. Word class is nothing but parts of speech, right? One word, what's the noun form of that word? What's the adjective form of that word? What's the verb form of it? What's the adverb form of it, right? It's good to know all this, because in a context, I might need a different form of the word depending on the context. It's very important. So, yes, Rahul, done. So let's get started. Let's look at our first context today without wasting any time. You use flamboyant and Insta, that's great. Yeah, so I want you guys to kind of, follow Diksha's steps, apply the words immediately, right? Because it's not enough. It's good that you're able to associate it with images and pictures and recollect it, but you need to apply it. So you'll know, okay, am I using the word in the right manner, right? Am I using it effectively? So yes, that's great, Diksha. Good to know. Please come back and let us know, that you're using what you're learning. So that'll be encouraging for me as well. Okay, so let's do this. Done, Diksha. Okay, so let's look at our first context. Oops. So this is our first context. Let's read the directions. It says, in these questions, sentences are given with words highlighted in bold that may need to be replaced. Okay. 5 alternatives are suggested. Choose the correct alternative if needed out of the 5 alternatives. Thank you, Pali. Let's look at the context. Jayashree was habitually so docile and erratic that her friends could not understand her sudden hostile her employers. Okay. So as soon as I read the context, right, can you tell me if there's any word that is missing? Before the 2 words that are highlighted are, of course, erratic and hostile, no doubt. Right, let me change the color. Let me take green. Okay, erratic and hostile. These are the 2 words highlighted, right? The options are accommodating, outburst against, erratic, envy of, truculent, virulence toward, hasty, annoyance toward, apologetic, hostile. I know for a fact that some of you might know the meaning of erratic, some of you may not know. What is this word, truculent, virulence? What are all these words, right? For some of you, it's like totally Greek and Latin. But let's look at it. So Jayashree was habitually, so I always keep saying this, right? When you have a context, step 1. What is step 1? Context meaning. What is the meaning that the context is providing? Is it giving me a positive or a negative meaning? I need to keep doing this always. It should become a habit. Every time I look at a context, I need to keep looking at it. So they are talking about Jayashree, this person, right? Usually, yeah, Karan, I'm going to get to that. So usually, Jayashree was habitually means what? It's our habit, right? Usually you would see Jayashree like this, what? Docile. That's another word you may not know, right? Docile and erratic, that her friends could not understand her sudden dash. So step 1 is that, right? Step 2 is, I need to look for any hint words. I know you don't know the meaning, Karan. We look at it, right? Hint words. Right, then we need to figure out, okay, what word class do I need? Right, does these words, erratic and hostile, is they correct as it is? What is it, if not? Step 4, you need to look for collocations. What are collocations? Associated words. Natural disaster. round of applause, personal preference. These are all collocations, right? Words that go together, associated words. Now, let's go back to the context. First thing, context meaning everybody's coming and saying negative, negative, negative. So what they are saying is, hey boss, Jayashree was habitually so docile and erratic that her friends could not understand. So usually this person seems to be fine, but so for me, the context is of course giving me a negative meaning because usually this person is so and so, but I see something sudden, right? So I will lean towards negative because I did not expect this from Jayashree. Step 2, what are the hint words for me to figure out if erratic is correct or not? I have this and synonym, right? It's a synonym hint word, and, which means I need a word that gives me the same meaning as docile. Now, for those of you who don't know what docile is, I want you to look at this image here. You see this little puppy, cute little dog, right? As soon as you see this dog, what comes to your mind? There's a context there as well. It says, my dog is a docile creature that enjoys being around people. So here in the context, right, docile can have a meaning of what? Can you tell me? Someone or something that is easily led or managed, right? Or for example, look at you guys, right? You guys are here eager to learn, right? You guys are teachable. You want to learn something. So that's also docile. Somebody who is teachable, right? Or yielding to supervision, right? These are all the meanings of docile. Now, let's go back. Let's look at, so I need a word that is giving me the same meaning as docile, right? Because I have this synonym hint word. So docile means somebody who is easy to mingle with, somebody who's easy to, you will immediately kind of not necessarily like them, but they can be friendly, they are easily led or managed. People like people like that, right? Teachable, yielding to. So now let's look at our options for the first plank. I have accommodating, I have erratic again, the same thing as it is there in the context, and I have truculent. What is truculent? And then I have hasty, and I have apologetic. Truculent and virulence, let's quickly look at those words. Okay, erratic. One of you asked, right, what's erratic? Check out Ranveer Singh. Ranveer is one of those delightful, irresponsible, erratic persons. So when you say erratic, you don't know what Ranveer is going to be up to, right? In the manner in which he carries himself, in the manner in which he does things, right? Whether it's his demeanor, his hairstyle, or whatever it is. Very unpredictable. Can you think of other words for erratic? Somebody who's very eccentric, right? Crazy. Don't know when they'll do what they'll do. So somebody who basically lacks consistency or some sort of a regularity. You can't expect them to follow a particular norm. It can either be in quality or performance, right? So erratic, eccentric, synonym, right? Think of Ranveer. Docile, you know who to think of. Somebody who's easily led or managed. You might know somebody like that also, you know. Think of somebody whom you know. It could be your friend or it could be your family member. So if not Ranveer, you can also kind of picture someone you know. So we saw erratic, we saw docile. Let's look at this. SRK seems like he's in a truculent mood and wants to argue with Salman. I want you to give me the meaning of truculent. What do you think is the meaning of truculent here? Banu, tell me. Don't look up the dictionary. I just want you to use clues in the context. What do you think can be the meaning of truculent based on what you see, the image and the sentence? Vijay Lakshmi, I'm guessing you're giving me the meaning for erratic. Aggressive, bad, okay. Yes, stallion, right? Somebody who is eager or ready to fight. Right? Your clue word is argue. So that's the meaning of truculent. Right? Somebody who's in fact, I would say truculent is a synonym for hostile, being hostile. Because somebody who's expressing hostility or bitter opposition. So truculent, now you know, you'll never forget it. Okay, now let's, virulent, let's look at, that was another word, right? Truculent in option C, and there's something called virulence. What is virulence? Let's look at it. Check this out. Before vaccines became widespread, many people died from virulent diseases that quickly spread from one city to another. What do you think is the meaning of virulent here in this context? That looks like a dengue mosquito. Yeah, okay. Stalin is given examples. Good. So, tell me the meaning of virulent here from the context that is in front of you. Before vaccines became widespread, many people died from virulent diseases that quickly spread from one city to another. Viral, yeah, okay. Yeah, so we're talking about something that is, something that spreads very quickly, right? But on the same time, like we all know, virulent can also, one word in English has different meanings, right? You can also have somebody who's giving you a virulent, criticism or remark. Basically, again, we're talking about expressing some sort of an extreme hostility and bitterness. Okay, so you guys got the idea. For the most part, virulence refers to something that spreads rapidly, something that's extremely dangerous. Right, let me put that now, extremely dangerous. So now we have the meaning of all of these words that are probably things that you have no idea about. Now let's go back to the context. So Jayashree was habitually so docile, we know docile, so we can't have erratic, obviously, so that's out. And anything, and we just saw what truculent was, somebody who's eager to fight, ready to fight, can't be that. Hasty can't be that because we're looking for a synonym word for docile, out. Apologetic, not really the word that we want in the first context. So hint words we saw was and here, so we figured out and we're eliminating all the wrong options. So the only thing that is probably closer is A, accommodating. Jayashree was habitually so docile and accommodating. Why? Because she can be easily led and managed. We just saw the picture of a puppy. Now, word class, right? Look at the second blank. It says her sudden something. So here we know this first blank we need an adjective describing Jayashree. The second blank we need a noun. A sudden what? Answering the question what. So sudden is our adjective. Sudden what? Hostile is an adjective form, right? Even hostility is not the right word. But even if I have hostility, right, sudden hostility, which is also fine because we just saw what hostile is. Hostility and then something is missing, no? What's missing? Can somebody tell me what's missing? I want the word class. Jayashree was habitually so docile and erratic that her friends could not understand her sudden something. And then something is missing, and then I have her employees. What is missing between this noun here and her? There is something missing. Can somebody quickly tell me what that is? Anybody? Nobody? Hello? Is anybody there? What's missing? Yeah, what is that, Vikram? What is that? It's a preposition, right? I know a preposition is missing. Why? Because something is wrong. Like the meaning, the meaning is not complete. Her sudden what? Either it should be toward or it can be anything else. Everybody is saying towards. But if I look at my second options, envy of, incorrect. Virulence, it should be towards, no? And we know that virulence can't be, because we just saw what virulent is. Even if it is, it's not in the right form. And sudden virulence, towards, annoyance, towards. So I don't have the right, and this one we know that it's already incorrect because it's an adjective form. I need a noun form. So word class, we've completed all these steps. Now let's look at the fourth step. Sudden, and if you look at option A, sudden outburst is a proper collocation. I've heard people use this repeatedly in various situations. He had a sudden outburst of anger. He had a sudden outburst of whatever it is, some sort of an emotion, right? So sudden outburst is a collocation. So what I can do is, instead of going through all these steps also, even if I can quickly identify the collocation, I won't be wasting so much time. Sudden outburst against her employees. That's also fine, right? So now let's read. Jayashree was habitually so docile and accommodating that her friends could not understand her sudden outburst against her employers. That's it. Are you are you following? Right? Any questions before we move on? Shakti, is that just for you, or is everybody else facing the same problem? Is the video stuck? Okay, I'm going to move on. Yes. Rahul. Okay, so I want you to remember these words: docile, erratic, truculent, virulent. Let's look at our next context quickly. We're running out of time. The village headman was unlettered, but he was no fool. He could see through the mystery of the businessman's proposition and promptly moved him down. Okay, so the video that is, sorry, I'm looking at Elsa and I'm reading that out. The words that are highlighted is mystery and moved him down. So I already know that, as soon as I read the context, I know move down seems like a, phrasal verb here, and I'm looking at all my options for the second blank. It's all phrasal verbs, right? Forced down, turned down. I again have forced and turned repeated. So as soon as this is you dissecting and analyzing the question quickly. So the village headman was unlettered, uneducated, right? But he was no fool. He could see through the dash of the businessman's proposition. So we'll have to figure out what can it be. Is it deception? Is it naivete? Is it potential? Is it sophistry? What is it? Now, some of you may not know what is naivete. Some of you may not know what is sophistry. Everything else is fine. It's not very... Now, let's quickly eliminate options, right? Let's eliminate options. Now, Karan, if you're saying, let's replace mystery with deception, look at my second blank. It says, forced him down. When do you force down somebody? This is a phrasal verb, right? When I say I'm forcing down somebody, what meaning does it bring in the context? Again, phrasal verbs have different meanings. Now let's quickly look at the second blank, eliminate wrong answer options, right? When I say I'm forcing down something, if I say, I forced the dog down, right? I forced the dog down and held it there. What am I saying here? I forced down, right? I'm using this. I forced the dog down and held it there means what? I'm using pressure, I'm using force, right? I'm literally pressing or pushing the dog downward, right? Or I can also say, I managed to force down a sandwich, right? I didn't like it, but I just did it. So it's almost like I did not want to, but I still ate the sandwich, right? So these are some of the meanings of force down. Turn down, on the other hand, when do you use turn down? When I say turn down, I'm turning down something. So I'm asking Shakti, hey Shakti, how could you turn down such a fantastic job? What am I doing here? Right? How could you turn down such a fantastic job? What am I doing here? I'm basically asking her, why did you not accept the offer, Shakti? Right? Why did you not accept the offer? That's the meaning. Any other meanings of turn down? I mean, usually I have this habit, okay, when I get into Uber or Ola, sometimes the drivers are playing loud music. So immediately I would tell them, this is what I would tell them. I would tell them, hey, can you please turn the music down a bit? Right? Again, I've used turn down. What am I saying basically? I'm saying, boss, reduce the sound. Right? It could be heat, light, whatever it is. So now, in this context, right, should it be forced down or turned down? It definitely has to be turned down, right? Because in the context, which meaning would apply? Reject, dismiss, decline, ignore. That's what the village headman, he was unlettered, but he was no fool. He could see through this businessman's proposition. Something was wrong with that businessman's proposition. When you say you're seeing through somebody, you realize that their intention is not right. Right? So instead of mystery, I need to look at another word which is giving me what is it that he's trying to do. Deception would have been correct for the first blank, but the second word is not what we want. So I have to eliminate A, though the first blank meaning is correct. Naivete. What's naivete? Let's quickly look at naivete and sophistry. These are the two words probably you don't know the meaning, right? The salesman used sophistry to convince the man to buy the more expensive vehicle. What does that mean? So guess the meaning of sophistry. Somebody asked, right? What's the meaning of sophistry? So basically, sophistry here is you're trying to either reason out or argue with the customer. In this case, looking at the image, it sounds correct, but it's actually very misleading. Okay, so sophistry is usually either a reason or an argument that sounds correct, right? So the customer thinks, hey, not bad, this is a good deal I'm making. But the truth is, the salesman is actually misleading the customer. Deceiving, yes. That's what I said. Deception would have been the right word, but unfortunately the second blank, we don't have the right word. But actually misleading. Yeah? So, now you have an idea of sophistry. What about naivete? Let's look at naivete. Smugglers rely on the naivete of inexperienced travelers to get their goods through customs. Smugglers rely on the naivete of inexperienced travelers to get their goods through customs. Yeah? So you tell me, what's the meaning of naivete? I'm putting down words that you probably don't know the meaning of. Let's look at example sentences. Naivete, in fact, it comes from the word naive. Have you heard this word at least? Naive. Don't be so naive, yeah? How can you just believe everything that everybody says? Right, just to give you an example. So what do you think the meaning of naivete is? Innocence, yes. So basically, yeah, somebody who's inexperienced in the ways of the world. Let's put it like that, right? You can easily deceive them of the, not words, world. Okay, so now we have an idea. Yeah, innocent, all of that, whatever you say. So now let's go back and look at our context, and we obviously know what's the meaning. What's the option? The village headman was unlettered, but he was no fool. He could see through the, can't be potential. That's a positive word. I need a negative word here. And it definitely can't be naivete, because this guy was not innocent. He was up to something fishy. So it has to be sophistry, because he turned him down. Would be perfect. The right phrasal verb, bringing the right meaning here. Great? Okay. So now we're going to quickly, innocent, yes, Shakti, correct. So we figured out that this is the meaning of, this is the option that would fit in the context, right? Now that we have an idea. So we've learned a couple of new words, right? And as always, it's important for us to quickly test our understanding. So let's do that. Here are the words, and here are the sentences. I just want you to pick a word and tell me which one of these options. Now, just for you to have a quick, the words are right here, right? Sophistry, naivete, truculent, erratic, docile, virulent, forced on, turned on. I'm going to go back, show you the images so you will remember the meaning, and then we'll come back to this context and finish this up. Naivete, inexperienced in the ways of the world. Sophistry, somebody who, the argument or the reason seems very convincing, but it's actually very misleading. Virulent, we know what that is. We saw two meanings, in fact. Truculent, we know what this is. Erratic, yes. Absolutely, Akash. Look at the words. Docile. Okay? Just for you to have a recap of the image. Now we're going back. Let's finish up this exercise. I'll give you about a minute. Your time starts now. Akash, the best thing about vocabulary is you can apply it in any competitive exam, right? It just depends on the words themselves. Truculent and virulent are words that you would definitely expect in a GRE fill in the blanks or sentence completion. Now I want you to, so for example, let me tell you what I want. I want you to say, okay, 1, is either D or 2 is either B. You know, I want to go like that. These are not the answers, but I'm just giving you an example. So take a minute, don't give me one by one, give me everything together. There are only 8 sentences, right? And then we'll quickly brainstorm. Let's just do this honestly. You know, I would appreciate it if you don't go and Google and all that. It does not serve the purpose. We just learned these words, it's fresh in our mind, we've associated with images, we should be able to quickly recollect it, look at the context, and then tell me. Tushara and Jane and Manish, don't give me one by one, give me everything together. So take your time, this is your time, take the time. Okay, I'll do it along with you guys. If anybody's finished, let me know that you finished. Just say done. All 8 sentences. Okay. Can we look at the answers? Or do you need some more time? That's fine, don't worry about it. Okay, Deeksha, what you need to do is go to settings and increase your resolution. It might not be in HD. Or put it on 720. That'll help. On the lower right hand corner of the video, you'll have settings. Go there and change it. Okay, so let's look at this. 2 minutes. Okay, Shiva, I'll give you 2 more minutes. Okay, Elsa's done. Elsa, you want to put down your all your answers? Okay, I'm going to take Tushara's, okay? So Tushara says 1 is D, 2 is F, 3 is E, 4 is H. No, 5 is H. I'm a little confused, Tushara. Okay, wait. Let me do this. 7 you're saying is A. B you're saying is 8. C is 1, no? Okay, hold on. I got this incorrect for Tushara. Hey, where did it go? So A, B is 8, okay. C is 1. 3 is D, okay. E is 2. Okay, let me change that. What else did Tushara say? 6 is F, huh? Okay. Where if we put G? G is 4. Okay, this is 4. Fine. G. And then, okay. So I have Tushara's. We'll see which one is correct. Okay, let's go. So the first one, sophistry. That's the word, right? Now I'm going to go by the stuff here. Rushmita dashed the sweet potatoes. So we're talking about probably she didn't like it, but she somehow still managed to eat it. So the right word for that would be forced down. So A is 7 and that is correct. Let's move on. So this is A. The top sheet had been neatly dash. The top sheet had been neatly, it can't be sophistry, it can't be naivete, it can't be truculent, it can't be erratic because you're talking about a sheet. It can't be docile, it can't be virulent. It has to be turned down. Now another meaning for turned down, so did you get B correct? Yes. Another meaning for turned down is also like, you turning the collar down, just putting it down, right? That's what this means. The top sheet had been neatly turned down. Remember we said phrasal verbs have different meanings in different contexts. This is another meaning. The cult leader sought out dash recruits who would believe his every word without hesitation. So basically somebody who can be led and easily managed, somebody who will listen to whatever you say. The right person would be C. C, Tushara, the right answer would be docile, right? Easily led, managed. So this is C, that you got wrong. Okay, that one is wrong. Let's move on. Nuns are true lovers of peace and are never dash with others. Nuns are true lovers of peace and are never what? They never want to fight. They never want to argue with anybody. What's the word for that? Truculent, right? Did you get that right? Yes. Anu's dash allowed her to foolishly believe the stranger would repay the money she loaned him. So obviously she was so naive, she thought, people will be nice and do the right thing. But, so Anu was basically what? Naive. So naivete, right? 2 is E. Did you get that right? Yes. The firemen had to wear masks that would protect them from the dash fumes. So we're talking about probably these fumes are extremely dangerous. They could pose a danger. They could harm you. You could get affected because of that. So we're talking about virulent. 6F, yes, you got that right. G, when my father drinks, he has dash mood swings and is somewhat scary. The only words left are erratic and sophistry. So it has to be erratic, right? Unpredictable. G, 4G. That also you got right. So you just got mixed up between C and H. While the claim in the weight loss and sounds real, it is actually dash from a marketing department. So it is actually what? The actually is misleading, false, deception, deceiving, sophistry. So one is H, right? I don't know how many of you got this right. If you got all this right, so Tushara, that's 6 out of 8, which is okay. But ideally I would have wanted all of you to get 8 out of 8, which is still fine because we just learned these words. It's fresh off our minds. I expected you to get full 8 out of 8. But nevertheless, you've added some more words to your vocabulary. Oh, let's put this down here. So we have everything listed down. Great. So I think we did pretty well. I know we kind of overshot the time, but it's important for us to always test our understanding of what we've learned, and nothing like applying it immediately. We will continue to do this. 8 out of 8, Vikram, great. So we're going to look at different sources, right? We started off with newspaper article. We might go back to that. Today we looked at questions from our exam question papers. So we'll probably look at a novel, or we can look at something that's closer to heart. And believe me, somebody asked, will this be applicable for GRE? Yes, I believe words as such generally, right? Anything that is able to expand your vocabulary And you can expect words of this level, truculent and virulent and sophistry, in GRE, GMAT. And now that even the bank exams, the difficulty level is increasing, you can expect to get these words. And it's always good to know what these words mean, and especially to remember and retain them more than anything, right? We need to remember the meanings of these words so we can understand context while we are taking the exam. That's the objective. Yeah, so Stallion, I would advise you to look up more context with respect to phrasal verbs, because phrasal verbs can be confusing only because they have different meanings in different contexts, right? So it's important for us to always learn phrasal verbs associated with context. That will make more sense. Thank you, Diksha. So thank you once again, guys, for actively participating. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock, don't worry. Today, if you're comfortable learning the same thing in Hindi, watch it at 3 p.m. This afternoon, after lunch, right? And tomorrow again, we have a session at 11 a.m. Don't forget. Before I leave, though, I want to also highlight the fact that we have tied up with GradeUp, and we've started these awesome sessions. We finished quantitative aptitude on Monday. We have another session Friday, tomorrow at 7 p.m. You don't want to miss that. It's on reasoning. So join us and learn what you need to know, what is relevant for you for your exam. Right? Take care. Have a nice rest of the day. I will see you guys next week.